Hi, hope you're having a great day. Today I am going to get one of my New Year's goals checked off. In a previous video we had talked about some of the things that we hope to do this year, and on my list is to try something new. And one of the things that I'm going to be trying is growing eucalyptus. I've never grown eucalyptus before, and I blame Instagram for this idea. I follow a lot of flower farmers and floral arrangers or just backyard gardeners, and a lot of them use eucalyptus in their arrangements. So I want to try it. Some of the other cool things about eucalyptus are that it's a native to Australia, which is pretty cool. However, that means that it is not going to be a perennial for me in zone 4B. If you live in zones 9 or higher, you might be able to save it as a tender perennial. So good luck. Let me know how that goes. Eucalyptus, we didn't grow it when I was growing up, but I remember it being in some of the arrangements that we had in my parents' house, and the smell of it is definitely something that's very nostalgic for me. I think it's mostly because it was probably in cough drops. I really like the smell of eucalyptus, so I'm super excited to try growing it, and I hope the variety that I get actually has that smell. I did read that it also has insect repellent qualities, so anything that will repel bugs or mosquitoes or any other nuisance, I'm all for that. There are a lot of different types of eucalyptus, from the small plants, which I will be growing, to trees. So you definitely want to make sure you read what you are purchasing when you are looking for eucalyptus, and that you're not going to be buying a 70-foot tall tree if what you're looking for is 18-inch stems to cut. So in addition to cutting them and putting them in my bouquets this summer, if I get enough, or if it's even an option, I might try drying them as well. They make an excellent dried foliage. The leaves on the eucalyptus also vary depending on variety. They can be what I think of when I hear eucalyptus are the circular disc-shaped leaves. They have kind of a silver, bluish, greenish hue to them. There are also some longer, strappier green leaves, so a lot of different varieties out there that you can look for. The variety that I'm going to be planting is Silver Dollar, and it has these circular disc-shaped leaves. They're bluish, greenish with a little bit of a silver hint to them. They tend to get about 24 inches tall, all the way up to 70 inches tall. So that could be interesting to see how this grows here, and they do prefer to be planted in a sunny location. Eucalyptus, from what I have heard, are similar to Lisianthus in that they take a long time to grow. So it is mid-January, and I'm going to be starting mine now. So like other flowers, you can order from many different sources. I was not able to get my seeds from GeoSeeds or Johnny's when I placed my orders this year, so I actually found seeds on Etsy. This is my first time buying seeds from Etsy, so my fingers are crossed this will work. And I'm just going to reference Johnny's website. They also have the Silver Dollar variety so that I know how to plant them and what to expect. Eucalyptus have a lot of days until they're fully mature. For the Silver Dollar variety, it says 120 to 150 days. So I'm going to get mine started now in mid-January. It is a little bit earlier than the Johnny's website says to plant them, which says 10 to 12 weeks before last frost. However, I've watched a lot of YouTube videos where they say that they take even longer to establish before they can move them out and transplant them. So I'm going to start them now. I do have, as a backup, that portable greenhouse I got for Christmas that I will be setting up. So if for some reason they take off and they are ready to go out slightly before my last frost date has come, I can put them in my temporary greenhouse, and that should be a nice transition period for them before I get them put in the ground. So the supplies I'm going to need today, similar to what we did for the Lisianthus, I have seed starting soil in here. I will need to add a little bit of water because it's a bit dry right now. I have the pots that I'm going to plant them in. I have my label and my marker. I have a 10-20 tray, which does not have any holes in the bottom. So when I water, if any water seeps out the bottom, it can go right in here and it won't wreck any shelving or flooring in the basement. I have my seeds. I have 25 seeds. I'll probably be planting 10 of them maybe. And then I have my humidity dome that will go on top of my 1020 tray. And I have a bag of vermiculite, and I might put vermiculite on half of them and just see how it does. I mentioned in the Lisianthus video that once the seeds have germinated in 2 to 3 weeks, then I will put vermiculite over everything. I was just testing things out to see if it's really needed in the first couple weeks as they're getting germinated. So those are the supplies I'm going to use. I'm going to make my label. I'm going to add a little bit of water to my soil, start mixing it up, put it in the pot, plant the seeds, and we're good to go. Add water to my soil. I'll mix this around. Normally when I would mix soil, I would turn this around so the opening is facing me. I just have it turned this way so you can see over the front of the container. So the consistency we're looking for in the soil is you can grab a chunk of it and water is not dripping out, but it will hold its shape when you squeeze it. If it is dripping out, add a little bit more seed starting soil. If it doesn't hold its shape when you squeeze it, then add a little bit more water. Pretty easy. Next, I'm going to fill my containers. As I mentioned, I'm going to plant 10 seeds. So I'm going to put 5 in each. And I think because they are going to grow so slowly, if I need to, I can pot them up. But I think they might be okay in this container until the end of May. I add soil to my container, and then I'm going to tamp it down just a little bit to make sure there isn't any air and that the container is actually filled with soil. And then I can just top it off. I'm not going to fill these all the way to the top because I don't really need to. Try and get them fairly flat so you can have a nice flat surface to work with when you plant your seeds. So eucalyptus seeds are fairly small. They are not the smallest seeds that I have seen before. There's a penny for reference. And similar to the Lisianthus, eucalyptus seeds like to have light to germinate, which means we are not going to be burying them under the soil. I'm going to put 1 in each of the 4 corners and 1 in the middle in both of these pots. Once I have them in their corners and in the middle, I'm not pushing them under the soil, I'm just making sure that they have contact with the soil. So they have something to grab onto and germinate and start growing some roots. As I mentioned, I'm going to put vermiculite in one of these and see if it makes any difference. Vermiculite is a mess, is very fine and light and airy, and it helps retain moisture. It kind of soaks up some moisture, which helps keep your new seeds from drying out. They will still be able to get light on them, which is what they need for germination, but it just helps so that if you're an hour late to watering them, they aren't going to be completely dried out. So speaking of watering, keep them misted until they germinate in 14 to 21 days. Once they have started growing, you can let them dry out slightly in between waterings. Don't wait a week to water them, but you don't need to go down there and check on them quite as frequently. So that's all there is to starting eucalyptus. I will check on them every day, make sure they have enough water. They will go under grow lights. They will get their humidity dome. And they will go on a heat mat until they've germinated. Then they can just sit on the shelves under lights. I will keep you updated on how they are doing. Fingers crossed this works. And if it does, that will be really exciting to have something new in the garden this year. Thanks for tuning in and watching. Let us know if you're growing eucalyptus or if you have experience growing it in previous years. Interested to see how it went for you and what varieties you started. Stay tuned for the videos we have coming up. We have a few more gardening related things. Then we're gonna head outside and start getting ready for maple syrup season. So it's about to get pretty busy here, which is great because we had a couple months off and now we're ready to get back in the swing of things. Have a wonderful day. Bye.